All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my little streaming session. I am an illustrator and graphic designer here in my hometown of Borger, Texas. And today I'm going to be going over and doing some work with Watch Me Work. It's a really fun website that lets you work next to other artists digitally, like on the computer. And it's really fun. So today I'm going to be doing that. Every Thursday night around 7 p.m. I'm going to be doing that as well. And so I hope you can join me, and that if you're an artist, I hope that I can work alongside you. I love doing this. And today I'm going to be working on some design ideas for promotional materials for our local farmers market, which is something I'm really passionate about. People growing their own vegetables and everything. And so today I'm going to be just working on a few like city promotional ideas from sketches and from pictures that I've taken around town, and from like including things that are often at farmers markets. So I've pulled over my photos, and now I'm gonna kind of move the view to that side. And thank you for joining me, by the way. And I'm gonna put the link to the Watch Me Work stream in the comments, and you are totally welcome to watch the other streaming people as well. Let me just see where I'm at here. Okay. All right. I'll do that in a second. I'm going to switch screens really quick so you guys can see kind of my work screen. This is how I work. I pull my pictures into screens really quick so you guys can see kind of my work screen. This is, okay. Sorry, I had to pull that over. I get so confused whenever I get a little just distracted and thrown off when I hear my own voice, what I said like 2 seconds earlier. And so anyway, so I'm going to be working on, like I said, a farmer's market promotional illustration for my city, which is the city of Borger. I'm thinking that it'll include like some scenes from downtown, which, okay, I guess my first thing is to choose photos and everything for reference. And I have a few sketches in here that I can kind of work from as a starting point. So for this sketch, this was in watercolor, and I just kind of was seeing how watercolor, I was just working for a little bit in watercolor and seeing how it would look now, you know. Now that I haven't really done watercolor in a long time, I'm going to kind of move other things from previous weeks out of the range so that it's not too distracting. Okay. I leave things in this document. I have a document for Watch Me Work sessions of doing work, just so that I have general organization of like where that stuff goes. But I also like to organize my documents where they don't make me feel crazy. because I like to do a lot of work, but after a certain number of pieces, um, the workspace gets a little messy. So, and I'm big on kind of, I like to use, um, I like to use documents in Adobe Illustrator kind of over and over. I'll just have like a few different work boards, art boards, and like once I finish an illustration, I'll kind of like group it all together and then move it to its own little space so that I can come back to it and like print it if I need to, or put it on social media. So I'll save it. But I'm going to say welcome. But sometimes, you know, folders get a little big, or artboards and files get a little big. And so I have to like, the cool thing about Illustrator is that you can change sizes over and over again on designs. So you can make things really tiny to make it work to have multiple designs in one folder, you know. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and go off of, I kind of like, wait, let's see. Did I delete the picture that I wanted to keep? Let's just see here. Sorry. Accidentally went to a different screen. Sorry, I just ate chili, you know, just chili in the teeth. Okay, so I kind of like, may have pushed my favorite picture over here, but I don't think so. So I'll just pull it over again. Or actually, I'm just gonna design what I want things to look like. I really like this sketch. I don't love these flowers, but I like the placement of them. I think what I'm gonna do is use this as a guideline. I'm going to add just a few things. Like I might actually add a couple of these design elements into it and make it more of a circular thing where I just add like a few fruits and vegetables around, like almost as a wreath, you know, because I enjoy making wreaths. For some reason, I like the circular thing. It activates a space and it kind of makes things soft, and it solidifies a focal point, and it is just pretty too. So I really like this. I'm gonna kind of go ahead and make it more circular and just add fruits and vegetables again, and maybe like just more flowers. Okay, that's what I was gonna get. I really like this picture. I just like pictures with an abundance of flowers. So I think I'm going to kind of use these as general guidelines, because of course, any of you guys who have watched before, you know that I really I enjoy floral elements. So these are tiny pictures, but that's fine because they came from Pinterest and I don't want to like steal anything anyway. but they're just like general guidelines. So I'm going to, so this is a different way of working for me. I typically will just start drawing in Adobe Illustrator. Like I'll just start sketching from this here, you know, make general shapes and everything, start with that. But when I start from a sketch that I've already begun, I trace a lot. And I don't mind that at all. I think anything to reduce the amount of time that you spend on one project is good. And so I'm going to go ahead and trace this because I want these general shapes. I really like them. I like even the colors, but they're obviously in the sketch, they're a little dull, you know? And so I'm going to go ahead and sketch this. Sketch it out. And obviously, the sketch is very general. It's not always exactly what you're going to end up doing, but it's a great starting point. And since you've already done the work, there's no point in redoing that work. You know, the point of being a professional artist is using your time wisely and just not fretting over those meticulous things that you could fret over. Like when I was in training as an artist, like in design school, I was big on just doing everything the long and hard way because I was in training and I needed to draw as much as I could. I needed to refine everything to the extent of, you know, doing pretty much everything the hard way. And I think that that is a great way to train, actually. And I think the more time you can put into drawing while you're training, whether it seems meticulous or not, the better, the faster you're going to get when you become a professional or when you leave there, you know? Or really every quarter I got faster and faster and faster because I pushed myself to keep doing the work, the hard type of work. You know, I wouldn't let myself trace anything, even if it was a sketch, really. Well, that's not completely true. But anyway, when you're in training, you just got to do things the hard way. And that may not include sketching at all. Because, I mean, really, if your sketch gets approved when you're in art school, you kind of have to go with it and then only make little changes after that, you know? So you want to kind of keep it generally similar to what your instructor signed off on for the final, so that, you know, you can kind of be on track with them and they won't be caught off guard by some completely different thing, which has happened to me before. I have a habit of being random and just being like, let's go with this instead, and then it not being a good idea that I did that. But hey, I don't regret those things. You learn a lot when you're learning. You know, you might as well go for it while you're in training when you still have like those training wheels. And now As I'm sketching, of course, these flowers are not finished flowers by any means. Obviously, I stopped and I kind of got bored with them. And I also left that coffee shop. So I didn't really finish. I left these for my later interpretation. So now I can do whatever I want to actually. And that's how I see flowers unless they need to be botanical type illustrations. I do whatever I want with flowers. Unless I'm trying to keep like a very specific shape to distinguish the type of flower, just so I can do something like if I were to do a series of flowers like peonies, um, roses, or like specific kinds of roses, which I actually do plan on doing. So it will be a thing eventually, but at this point, I'm just going for the bountiful look, that flourishing, lovely flower thing that it really doesn't matter to me what kind of flowers these are because they're really just applying beauty to a landscape or to a cityscape or whatever. I mean, I live in a town, so just beyond these are, well, they're more buildings, so it's kind of technically a cityscape, but it's a really small town, so who's to say? So right now I'm just kind of having fun doing cute little floral things. I'm gonna go ahead and reply in this streaming thing just to kind of be with it and talk to the other artists. I'm just saying how windy it is. It's basically I live in this Texas panhandle and it's freaking crazy fire alert all the time, like red alert, like do not like burn ban to the utmost. So today I went to another town to go with my dad for a medical appointment, and now I'm just kind of like mentioning how I got to promote my pet portraits uh, at this local pet grooming place. Anyway, the life of an illustrator is really interesting because you have to kind of be strategic and promote yourself all the time. Um, um, yeah, this is part of why I really like this community because it is like community, people asking how you are and just continue drawing while chatting. And I've said it before, it's a lot like art school was. Like we would sit next to each other with these compute at these computers and just chat for hours or just sit next to each other and do work silently. And it was still just wonderful being next to other people while doing work. And I really loved it. So it was really fun. Let's see here. Just finishing up on some general flower outlines. And obviously, Some of these might change just if I decide to change them. But they're so generic, like they're gonna be pretty simple to maintain. Maintain them, but it's been really fun this week to my brother and his family are growing a vegetable garden, and they planted vegetables last week into those um, little planters, and it just was really cool. So, okay, just kind of with the greenery, I want it to be where there's gonna be a bunch of different greens, but they're gonna be kind of interspersed and kind of like impressionism, how it has like these different paints all kind of together but separate at the same time. So you can see how all the colors kind of blend together with the eye, even though they're not fully blended together. I've always loved impressionism, and it kind of shows in my work often. Um, really more of my earlier digital work, people used to really say that it looked like digital impressionism. But now my lines are a little bit more separated to kind of let light through. So I don't know if that makes it a little bit more impressionistic because of letting the light through, you know. Impressionists would keep their canvas white instead of painting it like a little darker of a color to have a nice starting base. Because painters before that would do that. They would paint it like some just like starting neutral color, like a brownish, like a tea-ish type color, or a like a burnt sienna type color, kind of like this. But it was like light-ish, but that would give them like a nice base to keep to like have a darkness that they wouldn't have to like super work for, you know. But impressionists would keep their canvas white so that the light it was all about the light with impressionism. I'm really sad that I can't listen to music right now because normally I really love listening to music while I work or a TV show, but I really don't want to get in trouble for copyright issues. And so I am going to respect artists and not do that. I mean, one day, who knows? Maybe I'll be like sponsored by by a musician and play their music because it's amazing and have that be like, you know, a nice collaboration or whatever. But I want my videos to stay up, so I'm not gonna copyright. So anyway, that was only an issue with my first video. It literally just ended up getting taken down because there was just a kind of a stream of songs that, you know, I didn't ask for permission for because I kind of just didn't even think about it. I just was enjoying it too much and you know, I just didn't think about it. So, all right, I'm gonna finish this up, have some kind of fun little moving pieces. these little planters. I also don't want to make too many pieces because then it gets a little jumbled up too. It can. But I want to emphasize like these curly little pieces. I'm going to delete this because I think I'm going to do a circle first to see where I'm at. So right now I'm going to go ahead and do that with what I have, which is fill in the shapes that I just made. And then I'm going to do the outline instead. So I go to the, right here, it's basically the stroke button versus the fill. I take it off of the fill. I go to stroke by double clicking this. And then, yeah. So I don't want to choose a different color right now. I just want to have it only be the stroke and not the fill so that I can still see the shapes. But now when I take away the picture, I can see it on the background. So, all right. Now, okay, this is super cute. Actually, I will say working from a sketch can sometimes be way better. It's already more formulated. You don't have to like make up space as you go. I like both. But this feels like refreshing to get this far in only a little while. So I know that it's already taken 30 minutes, but still, hey, you know. So I want this to be circular. So I'm going to kind of give it a little bit of direction that I want it to grow into. Pull this over here. So I really like this. It's not going to be the perfection isn't going to matter because I'm going to basically fill this up with floral, not fill it up entirely, but like have it be kind of a floral slash fruity slash vegetable wreath kind of thing. And so I actually already have a few fruits and vegetables already developed. I'm going to just bring them into this because I like them and they're really fun. This is kind of my my overall promotional material type file where I just make promotional materials like this. This dog thing is what I made to hand out today at different animal businesses. So I just made that as kind of a little promotional thing. And then I made a bunch of little ones because I kind of ran out of business cards. So, okay. Since it's a farmer's market, let me just put this up. Okay. I do like this picture. I haven't made any radishes yet. So farmers markets have got to have radishes. I'm going to just kind of take all of these and this for a new one, copy it, paste it over here, but it's a lot bigger. Oh, actually it's smaller. Okay. All right. Very well. Okay. So I got some new flowers to work with, but I have some old ones that I really enjoy as well. And I may want to go for doing honey as well because honey is almost always a farmer's market subject or product that is sold at farmers markets. And I just recently found out that we have super local honey, which is supposed to be good for your allergies, which I don't have, but it's also great for like vitamins and nutrients as well. So, wow, severe weather alert. It is super windy here. Yikes. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of make a little cornucopia type thing of like the fruits and vegetables that I already have, and then just work it together and see what happens. And I try not to put too similar of colors next to one another. Okay. Now, obviously, farmers markets are like freshly grown vegetables and fresh stuff. But we also have this really great food car, like food truck thing called Plum Good Food that I just recently designed the logo for. That I'm in love with their food. And I'm pretty positive they're going to be at some of the farmers markets. So I like the idea of having stuff like other type of things that might be at the farmers market in this. Um, but I'm gonna try and keep it mostly like fresh stuff. Rose hips. I last summer when I had so much free time, I did a series of sketches and then illustrations on vitamin C, things that are packed with vitamin C or things that have quite a bit of vitamin C that are kind of surprising sources. Not that strawberries are that surprising, but sorry. Let's see here. I'll leave that out. I'm gonna just have these along the side and then fit them in around the floral stuff. Just fit them in where they fit, you know? I really love these peppers. They're great. Okay, first, I'm going to go ahead and make this about as big as the circle. Of course, this is the sky, and I really like having just sweet blue skies just because here in Texas is kind of how every day is. It's just like this open sky, and it's really gorgeous. And we have really great like sunsets. We have really great clouds. And I don't know exactly what the factors of that are, but I think it's great. I love them. So I like to create things with really blue skies and really nice puffy clouds. Because here, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to pour down rain because we don't get that. We don't get rain a ton currently. I'm not saying that won't happen in the future, but we don't get it a ton. So I'm gonna do something similar to that one and have kind of that. And then, you know, your typical white-ish. Maybe have an outline of blue, but have the main part be white. No, I'm kind of right here. It's just, I'm kind of like going with the flow and seeing what happens. Okay. All right. I'm actually going to make this bigger. Than the circle so that I don't have to like make more landscape or more of this or that. And please forgive me if I say just way too much. I realize that that is like a thing with me and it is what it is. And I don't feel bad about it. So, I mean, sometimes I definitely do, but right now, I'm just kind of not too worried about it. But who knows? Maybe this is a great opportunity to practice not doing that by pausing instead. Because apparently, I learned in public speaking that if you just pause and just get comfortable with that pause, instead of feeling the need to fill the air with words, then it makes it less likely that you're going to have filler words like or just all over the place. So that's good. Okay. Now I'm going to get my Pantone colors back. Go to swatches, library, and then color books. And then I go to Pantone Color Bridge Uncoded. And I'm just going to, I like making these, I like fun colors. So even if a building is kind of boring, you know, I'm going to make it fun because that's just what I'm going to do. I don't really care. I mean, I hope that they'll change their colors. But if they don't, it's just like, I'm going to make it fun so that I don't have to have something boring in an illustration of mine. My illustrations, I've realized, are meant to see life the way it could be, or see what is the potential of something, or what is beneath, like like to pull the gold out of it, and to like see what it could be, see what it is even. So right now I'm cutting these windows. I'm just cutting out the windows, even though like technically in real life they're darker. I'm just making them lighter because I think it's fun when the windows are cut out. I think it fills the space with light more again, and it's obvious that it's a window, whether it's dimensionally correct. And I just like it. So I just do what I like in my work. I'm gonna go ahead and pick colors from what's gonna be on the outside too. It kind of unifies a picture, and it's fun. I'm just gonna, again, do the things I want to do with an accent that I want to have, because it's fun, right? I cut that out. See, and again, and I say this all the time with my work, I like having that bounce factor, that evidence of the artist's hand. Even though this is digital, you can see where I'm wobbly. I mean to be wobbly. I appreciate that kind of work more than, not so wobbly stuff. And again, I like to start, like if I have a starting color, I'll use the eyedropper and just kind of go for it, and then correct, with the Pantone colors. Okay, right now I'm just kind of playing around, man. playing around. I've had this really fun country accent lately too, because I like to make fun of my brother, and he really likes Matthew McConaughey and making fun of him, so I make fun of him making fun of him. And it's really fun, and I just really love it so much. Because apparently I haven't had an accent since I was in middle school, even though most people can still tell that I'm from somewhere that isn't the North. Because I talk a little bit slowly. Whoa, there is someone on here from Canada. This is so cool. Sorry, I just saw another person's response to mine on Watch Me Work, and it's basically they're in Canada, I'm in Texas. There's people from like all over the world on here, I'm assuming. And it's just really fun. And it really is like art school. Okay, now I'm just going to keep building up the color of the buildings. Even if something is simple, colors do a lot for making something simple feel like a whole scenery, like it's as complex as a line drawing of a city, whereas it's just color. Okay. Again, I'm just kind of playing around with the colors right now, and I'm trying to find the colors that I like that are closest to the real color. 3, 2. I'm gonna go ahead, make this a little more like this. I'm gonna pull my original inspiration picture for even this sketch. Because I was sketching it in a coffee shop, not right in front of it, unfortunately. I would love to start doing more plein air sketching times too, but I didn't really do that here. So I'll kind of just go off of both of them. And I mean, even if a scenery is a certain way, again, you add your own flavor to it. And I think as long as you get the gist of something, make it obvious what it is you're drawing, but you draw it with your own heart, it's just better to me. I enjoy it more, and it's more fun to kind of like see someone's interpretation than the exact replica of something every time. Because I believe I could do something pretty precise if I really wanted to. I've taken many drawing classes in my time, but at the same time, I like where I've come so much. Like, I like the heart that I feel in my drawings now. Like that, it's easy for me too because I've done it so many times, but I like it. That I really am not, unless I just want to do something different. I like doing it in a more playful way. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add this last building color, make it a little bit more interesting, but also differentiate it from what it's going to be next to. So maybe make it darker or lighter. I'll probably make it let's see, it's like a peachish color. I actually am probably going to do a white outline around the vegetation, like the vegetables and fruits and everything below them so that it breaks up where they meet other elements of this scene. Because they're really more of a border anyway. So, no problem. All right, so this is a street. I think even normal everyday things like streets, if you can like just slightly differentiate it to make it more vibrant, it makes a big difference. Okay, and I guess I'll go ahead and change that up a little bit. And this is more of a maroon bottom. And then that big window. This is maroon. So I'll just make it just dark red, which is maroon. Not all dark reds are maroon, but hey. And then I need a window here. Oh, yeah, I had fun with that color because it wasn't purple either. It's blue. Really light blue. Really like kind of like one of these blues. Like this one. Again, I use the cutout for the Pathfinder tool to cut these out. I put one shape in front of the other. So I'll put the one that I want cut out on top of the other one. So I put the window shape on top of the building shape. And then I choose both of them and then go to the cutout. Okay. Next, I am going to just go ahead and put a little kind of grayish color in here. I know I was about to do something else. I completely forgot what I was about to do. So it'll come back to me, I'm sure. Oh yeah, change this to a lighter blue, or a kind of a different blue than the sky, because it's still pretty differentiated from the sky, but not so dark that it doesn't really fit with the other buildings, even though our main street is kind of quirky and odd. It's not terrible because I like how things are differently colored. It's just, I hope that we kind of move forward with upgrades for it, which is definitely in the plans and in the works. Okay, now I'm gonna move these back so I can, well, actually I'll probably want to move these up sooner rather than later to see where they're gonna fit so that I don't waste time doing some things that I don't really need to do. Like if I don't need vegetation in a certain area because I'm going to have like a vegetable there or a piece of fruit or a hamburger or whatever there, then that saves me work. And I'm probably going to need to like just split some of these things up, like these strawberries. I like them, but I probably need to take the words off, you know. A lot of these have words because they were a part of the vitamin C illustrations and design. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and might not actually put the burger in because I haven't been to a farmer's market here in forever. because I've lived in Georgia for like the past 13 years. So no, I'm not gonna have that in there. I am gonna put ice cream though, just because it feels like it goes with these for some reason. I might keep these as the main flowers, and then if I need more, I can pull those other ones in. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of a blanket on me because it's starting to get a little cool in my house. Okay, see here. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. Well, no, I'm gonna leave it on. It's gonna still remain kind of like a general guideline. I like to intersperse different colors together, like complementary colors, and then just other colors as well. Let's see. Yeah, these peppers are super fun. They were really fun to do as well. Put garlic. I'm gonna make these a little smaller. Pull them up. Wow, that is the same color as the street. Oh man. I'm gonna put the street a little bit darker so that it pops that out. And I'm gonna take the garlic part off the words. Do the same thing with the rose hips. Oops. Ugh. Clearly this was in my time of man, just way too many shapes going on. Take that off. Just delete things as I go, I guess. All right. Okay. I mean, seeing these up close, I just want to do a whole series on this kind of like herb. I want to do herbs. I want to do just all kinds of things. I'm actually going to write a book. You know, I've done a lot in my life, and I'm going to write a book and I'm going to illustrate it myself. And I'm really excited about it. Okay. So having already made up like a few different pieces makes things so much simpler. But it can also make it a little bit more complex too, because then you have to find where it fits. And all right. Forgot that that was multiple pieces of broccoli. Okay. Perfect. I'll just ungroup that by pushing the Shift Command G button that ungroups things. Command G groups them. So it's important when you're doing something with a lot of different pieces, like small pieces like this, is that you group them. Because otherwise it can get real hodgepodgey. All right, I'm ungrouping this. See. All right, these luckily I had already grouped before I grouped the letters. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be so fun. Okay. Just have, I'm trying to alternate. It's just so hard when you have so many green things. Hello, it's vegetables, you know? So I'm gonna group that. All right, make that smaller. And this smaller as well. I might just keep only one of those. Okay. Just gonna kind of play with the placement of these just because. I'm trying to think of where the flowers will go, but it might end up being kind of just wherever there's space, there's going to be flowers. Just go ahead and have, see that kind of blends in a lot. And I don't really want it to be like you can't see that there's a strawberry there, you know? I like strawberries, so I like to be able to see them. I might put the garlic down here because that breaks up the space from having too much green. And I'll probably make the spinach smaller to take the words off. Oop. Okay. Some of these I grouped before I joined them to the words, and some I did not. When you group them beforehand, it makes it so much easier after. Okay. Okay. I really like this. I'm really excited about this, even though it's kind of a bunch of things I've already done. I just loved those things so much, and they kind of all stayed as sketches so far. And I feel like this piece will turn it into something that each of these individual elements, you know, like this ice cream, I never knew what to do with it. But I knew I loved it just so much. And it's just given it a new purpose. And I love that. I love how an illustration can take elements that were previously just kind of aloof and give them a new purpose. Yeah, I really like that. All right, I'm deleting those because I already have them in another file and I don't need extra just shapes everywhere on this. Okay, so now we'll start by, you know what, I'm trying to think whether I need to do the outline in white first or just start developing the flora aspect. But I think first I'm going to take these words off these potatoes. And these potatoes are so fun. I forgot. They just feel so sparkly to me because I did the little like thing where I made a bunch of little circles and I just cut them all out. So You can see the specklediness of the potatoes because they have those little dots on them. But obviously they're more brown. But again, it's like the windows. It's just more interesting when you cut it out, you know? It's just more interesting that way. And I like how this potato actually breaks up the red and green, kind of like allows these shapes space to breathe without being like red, green, Christmas. All right, I'm gonna try and find where this fits the best, which will be interesting. I may have to just kind of turn it around and see where it fits. I I'm almost feeling like it'll just fit better long ways, but I'm gonna go ahead and swap it. I'm gonna reflect it by going to Object, Transform, Reflect, and I'm gonna do the vertical, so it'll just basically flip it vertically. And now it's more along the curve of the circle, or the oval that's going around the composition. Okay. And may see what this is like adding this in here. I think it adds a little interest, kind of brings, where this leaf, these leaves are kind of like jutting out over here. It kind of makes it similar over here where this little aspect of the shape is jutting out as well. So, okay. And I'm going to go ahead and shorten this street a little bit to where at least it's inside of the circle. Because again, I'm going to put a white border just outside of the outline of these vegetables to keep it interesting and to pull them away from the background so I don't have to do every shape around the shape of the vegetables, So, and so I can have a little scenery that doesn't get disrupted, like if say I choose to move the vegetables and just have the flowers, like I don't have to redo everything. It's good to think ahead to what you might want to do later down the road. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and extend this a little bit just to where it goes just beyond the circle. So I will end up using the circle to make a mask for the city area and the flowers. And then the vegetables and that white outline are going to sit on top of it. So it'll be like cut paper, basically. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and do the outline, the white outline, but I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it in yellow. I'm going to do it in yellow. And again, I like to use the brush tool because it's smooth and it's fluid and it's basically whatever you want it to be. Okay. well, it's not whatever you want it to be. It's like a brush, but it's really easy to use. So I do all my generic outlining in the brush tool. And then I do my correcting of any shapes that I make with the brush tool that I want to slightly alter using the pencil tool. Okay. Some of this I can't fully see because my hand is covering up where I've been or where I'm going. So I just make kind of broad strokes for now and then fix it when my hand is doing something different. Today, when I started this, I was starting to kind of gather fruits and vegetables that I had done over the summer, mostly. I've done most of these over the summer, except this pineapple I actually did really recently. And I just recently did a paper line from it, like of handmade envelopes, which is kind of one of the main things I do here locally. Is I have my paper goods featured at a local boutique called Newman and Bailey. And they're like the sweetest ladies. And it's pretty great. You know, maybe I should start a podcast that goes along with this because I really like just talking. It feels kind of therapeutic to just talk out loud. But to have a reason behind it is really great. You know, the whole sharing your work, sharing how you do stuff and everything. But it's also a part of like sharing your thoughts on life and all of that as well. Because even though I can't hear anyone else, I feel like I'm making conversation in a way. Okay. I always try to get to a general stopping point whenever I do nights like this, just because I like to have something to show for my time. You know, especially if I'm doing something specific for a specific amount of time. I like to see, like, okay, what did that time end up amounting to, you know? Well, I like doing that more now. All right, so I have the outline. I'm gonna make it white by using the eye or the eye drop. That's the hotkey I. Okay, so it's gonna go over it at first, and then you push it down by using Shift, Command, Open bracket. You push it to the background, and then you keep your hand on the Shift key, and anything you want to pull up above it, you click on that too. So I still have the white selected, but I'm selecting the pineapple. I'm selecting the spinach, the garlic, the broccoli, the strawberries, the ice cream, peppers, potatoes, and onions. And now I'm pulling it up, back up by using the hotkeys Shift, Command, and close brackets. And now for that, I'm just going to group these together. Group them together so they can't really be separated now. I am going to put a few holes into the background, that background white, so that the flowers can show through and stuff, just to kind of show there's still a little bit of depth. And white is not the best color to use for that. Whoops. And you don't want to do it when it's all together anyway. All right. So putting that there and then cutting into it individually. And then I'm just going to keep doing that for some of the gaps. I don't want there to be so much white. And again, I'm just doing this. And then I'm going to kind of refine so I'm not pulling the white out too far away from the vegetables so that, you know, it doesn't just look like a white blob and then some vegetables here and there. I want it to show that it's kind of directly mimicking the shapes of the vegetables. Okay. All right. Man, okay. Sometimes you just get to a place in trying to refine things where you just have to undo it and redo it nice and clean. Because not everything is clean, and that is what it is. Okay. All right, I'm just kind of, again, refining this outline. Seems a little overdone or whatever, that's fine. The flowers, I think, will be really simple, like a really simple ending to it. And then I'll add some other stuff. I'm going to go ahead and remove this from the picture right for now. Just pull it down here so that it's not just overwhelming my sight. And I'm just going to kind of do these colors now. You know what? I don't hate this gold color, but I am going to go back to Pantone colors. So I'm going to pull this over here so I don't lose it. I'm going to, okay. There's a lot of purple. So I'm gonna, you know, and at this point, these are kind of generic to me. I don't really care what color they are as long as they're kind of semi-complementary-ish. They don't have to be overly anything. They're just gonna be kind of like, almost like roadside wildflowers to me. Just adding pops of color and just bringing spring to the atmosphere that's their job, you know? Okay, and then these are just going to be kind of like differentiated greens. So some light greens, some dark greens. I'm going to start out with darker greens. And the dark, of course, are going to add depth because next to the light, there's dark next to light. The dark goes in, the light is out. So uh, lighter parts of a shape mean that light is hitting it closer, so it shows its shape. Um, if that makes sense, the way I explain it. That's the way I understand it. And I wasn't always the very best at that, but I loved it when I started to get it, when you start to get how form is shaped, essentially, it's really freeing actually to see how you can show a scene realistically if you want. These are more like your traditional greens. Obviously they're a little darker, but again, I'm just kind of doing all kinds of greens here. All right, so I have darks, lights, I have some foliage here. And I'm just gonna kind of keep doing that till I kind of fill this area up. Let's see. I'm kind of adding whatever colors I want. I'm using a little bit of realistic stuff, but this is really just going to be generic flowers. Again. All right. Let's see here. Right. Okay, so I'm almost done with the flowers and foliage. Then after this, I'm gonna kind of combine it and do some hand-drawn type using the pen tool. And it's gonna be great. I'm really trying to get my city as my client. So I'm trying to develop more works that will be flattering to them, but also like great portfolio pieces for me, because even if they don't end up being my collaborator or whatever, which they just might, I'm really moving for that. But if they don't, or if they do, it'll be great work, and it can go into several different directions because it has landmarks from my town, so it can be for like posts, it can be used for posters or other things as well. So I really want to land like some big clients here in my hometown. So I feel like I could really benefit this town. Just make it more beautiful because smaller towns, they need that to be interesting. Because some small towns can feel really boring to the people who live here. But they can also be absolutely gorgeous. Like there's just so much potential with smaller spaces. You know, there's potential for bigger spaces too, but I don't know, it feels more doable with smaller spaces, you know, if people haven't been here forever. Okay, now I'm just kind of adding a few extras to fill in the space because my sketch didn't go down that far, but this does. This goes down that far. So I kind of just pull in a few of the same colors that I've already used so that this fits. I'm just going to kind of do that a little bit like that. And this, very much like this. And you kind of want to just like unify things. So you pull in colors that are like over here or over here. Okay, now one last one. And actually, I'm going to make that purple. And then now I'm going to pull the vegetables up, vegetation. And you know what? Now that the flowers are done, I kind of want to see them. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I guess I should have done the flowers first. But again, it is still okay. Okay, let me just wait. Okay. I'm going to see what that looks like. And now I'm going to pull things off one by one. Actually, I'm going to pull like maybe this whole side off. I'll pull this all back to the front because some of those new foliage pieces have been pulled to the front. Okay, so, and this is really where, again, planning your space comes in handy. And those, anyone who knows me knows I'm not huge on planning everything out. And that doesn't bother me. It can be stressful sometimes to redo stuff, but it also, I don't know, I kind of like going with the flow and seeing where something takes me instead of having every detail planned out. And I've always been like that in my life. Since I've been an adult, at least, I like kind of just going for it and seeing what happens. Okay. Okay, this is super interesting. Okay. I think, I'm wondering if vegetables could be really fun to just go all around it. Let me just feel this out. Oh man, I kind of have a little bit of an earache right now. I told y'all that I traveled today with my parents to another town to go to a medical appointment. And I just was nauseous the whole time. And just our air conditioners having issues. And so, anyway, that could be something to do with why my ear hurts right now. So, anyway, well, that just feels a little weird. Kind of like when curves go with each other. So maybe moving these around a little bit, it might be helpful. And then pulling that white line, that white outline up maybe could be good. I'm gonna pull these small things up there too, because why not? Let these flowers shine in their simplicity. Okay. Gonna pull this up. This is important because I have to keep this going until I bring it all the way around, or else it's gonna make the weirdest shape ever and then it confuses me. Visually it confuses me. I'm just like, wait, where's this start? What do I do? Sometimes I'm able to fix it, and sometimes it just looks like crap. All right, again, I'm pushing this back to the back. Pushing it back to the back. Pulling these up with it. Ta-dum. And these, even though they're down at the bottom. And then these are just gonna I'm just gonna place these little tchotchkes or something, which I just found out what a tchotchke is. And basically those little things that people collect for their homes and stuff, they're called tchotchkes. It's really interesting. I might pull this over here. There's nothing wrong with like adding something you already have on one side to the opposite side to kind of like add variety. Actually, I kind of like the way this is going. As, I don't know, as kind of windy as it is. It's interesting. Okay. And I might just like add kind of little tidbits of flowers here and there with it. Okay, and I am gonna finish this because why not, you know? Why not? All right, I'm just gonna make this go around. Whoops. Go around the strawberry. It's my nephew in the background. I live with my niece and nephews and all those peeps. Currently. It's not bad. I actually really love being able to be around them and invest time into them. Sometimes it gets a little distracting, but that's okay. You know, things. What is that? Oh, how did that? All right, I'm gonna delete these pieces real quick because it feels weird. So one of my nephews has autism, and he has been like one of the most interesting characters in my life. Just because he doesn't care what anyone thinks of him at all. And obviously in most society it's kind of like, oh, but it's really refreshing to see that and to be around someone who just doesn't do things for human approval. You know, it can be very refreshing. So anyway, let's see here. Pull this up and around, up and around. And I'll just add flowers on here and there. And I don't really have to go white around all the flowers necessarily, but I probably will just for consistency's sake. Oops, someone else is on. Cool. All right. I keep doing this white outline around these vegetables and herbs. Okay, let's see here. That, oh my gosh, I'm loving the way this is turning out. As much as it's a lot of color, I feel like it just it feels like it is turning into an actual promotion for the farmers market, which is obviously the goal, to be able to present it in a realistic way and to show something that people will definitely want. But it just feels really good to finally be doing this, you know, because I've actually been meaning to work on this for weeks because it's the season, you know, it's about, I'm pretty sure one of our farmers markets has begun, and I kind of wish that I had already been doing this. So, okay, copy back. I'm going to make one of these. I'm going to make two outlines. Make one of them go around and one of them cut out the middle. So the one that's going around is this one. I'm going to push that to the back. Push it to the back. And then the one that is going to be the middle one, going to go ahead and refine that shape in the middle. Basically, all I'm going to do is not go around to the other side. Just stay in the middle, and eventually it'll just kind of see that it'll keep the other shapes from the middle section. And then I'm going to cut this shape out of the other one so that it's not so difficult to form it. Okay, so I'm going to take that. Then I'm going to go to Pathfinder again, cut it out, right? Push it back, pull it back forward. Man, I'm starting to get a headache, so I'm about to have to finish. We'll pull this forward, group it together, for goodness sake. And then I'm going to get rid of that black outline that is no longer needed. And, oh wait, dang it. I'm going to keep that in because, all right, I'm going to do this. All right, I'm going to remove that entirely. Make sure all the outline is in front of everything. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and make sure all of my shapes are good before I make this mask. Because you can edit things in a mask, but you just have to keep double clicking on everything. And it's just better to take care of that before you make the mask. All right. I'm also going to finish this so I can listen to music or watch The Office while I do the final touches. Final touches. All right. Okay. I'll be right back. Okay, I was like, My nephew likes to fill the bath so full that it's like an ocean in there. And then the whole bathroom is flooded. Okay, so I basically make a mask using Command 7. I use that, the outline, I pull it to the foreground by using the hotkeys Shift, Command, close bracket. And then everything that I want in the mask, I select, and then I push Command 7 for that. And now I'm just going to pull this back around and pull it to the foreground again. And oh my God, this is really cute. I'm going to kind of do some final touches. I'm going to have Farmer's Market right here. Oh my gosh, I am so excited about this. Okay, and this is something I feel like I can definitely present. I'm going to go ahead and do all of my own letters real quick. Sometimes I use letters that I've already used, in my kind of key file. I have all like a ton of my patterns that I've already made, and I have other ideas, but I also have like type that I've already made, so that I can take from that and just combine things kind of like this, combine it as I go so I can do it really fast. But this I want to be unique. Like newer posters, you want them to kind of have their own feel and to not be like everything else. And obviously, okay, the background is a blue, so I want this to be kind of complementary probably. So I want it to be an orange, but because this is blue yellow, I want this to be kind of like orangish purplish. So I'll add some sort of, I don't know, orangish purplish. There we go. No, I want something vibrant. I want something vibrant and fun. So, and I'm doing this in the pen tool. And I'm just going to keep I don't really like that letter. Sometimes it doesn't work out as well as other times. But then you just kind of shift as you go. And, but the good thing about making letters fresh is it just feels new, and with a new event, you want it to feel new. It's not like every other thing, you want it to be its own special thing. Borger is my town. It's kind of a fun name, but it was named after the founder, Ace Borger, who I guess was an oil man. I need to rebrush up on the history because I love history. But I've never really gotten to know the history of this town that well. So I've learned it here and there, but I don't know that I fully knew how much I really love history back when I was here. I was still kind of like trying to figure out my life, and I was in school the entire time I was here before. So now I'm trying to kind of get back to who I am as an adult here, and it's kind of neat. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bit more vibrant somehow without making it too light because, of course, it has to stand out from a light blue. I'm going to go ahead and group it together and do kind of it's a little too dark. And obviously I can also do something where I kind of do one a lighter color and one a darker color, and just like do this kind of thing, this little offset thing. I basically copy this and then paste it right behind it by going using the hotkeys Command B, and then I just offset it a little bit by using the arrow keys, and that adds a little bit of dimensionality to sound super artistic and whatever. But it pops it more from the background, so you can use a lighter color that might be a similar shade to the background, but you can use a darker color to pop it out and to contrast it. Okay, farmer's market. So I'm going to do kind of like a little mini text box for where the letters should go-ish. Farmers, it's about similar. Okay. Okay. And sometimes I like using different variations of letters, even if it's in the same um, design. You know, I used uppercase letters over here, but I'm going to kind of vary it out down here just to kind of have fun. Even though graphic design, I'm pretty sure you need to be more consistent. Again, I'm a freaking illustrator. I am a graphic designer, technically here, but I'm illustrative at heart and I like having fun with things. So, and occasionally you need to change up the rules so that not everyone is bored to death with something. Obviously, design rules are there for a reason because they're kind of time-tested rules for aesthetic. Like the way something looks that is attractive, that pulls people in to see it. Typically, if it's, yep, that's my nephew. He's great. Um, typically, if it's more attractive, it'll do its job of pulling people in. So obviously, I don't want to disrespect that, but I also want to have fun. If I'm going to force myself to do graphic design and to use it to serve the people in this town, like I've got to be able to have fun with it. Because there's a reason I chose not to be a graphic designer, and I didn't know it at first, but you know, just the thought of it used to give me a headache. You know, being in the graphic design department at SCAD gave me a headache, and that was actually why I ended up choosing to go into illustration instead. I didn't realize till later that there were plenty other reasons, but I just didn't know them at the time. Okay, that's gonna kind of go there. And it's actually really great to have your letters interact with illustrations. Like, you know, to have them moving around the different shapes so that it's clear that this is a completely unique poster and it was made for this. And that the hand-drawn type was specifically made with this in mind, you know? It feels more just fun and interactive. My nephew has memorized a lot of the Jungle Book because he just loves it so much. And so most of the time to get himself to go to sleep, he just goes over the dialogue and it's just really great. Okay, let's see here. pull this and do that. Pull this down a size. Obviously, I don't want to go too crazy with size differences of the letters because, you know, it's got to be similar so it goes, so you know it goes together. Um, and I like for if it's in the same line, I guess this is where it's different with graphic design. If it's in the same line, it needs to be kind of the same font, you know, unless you go for that every other kind of thing. It's a this is all the same font. This is all the same font. It needs to be similarly sized so that you can see that it clearly goes together. And then you can have fun within those parameters, I guess. That's kind of where the fun can definitely have its space. It's just within certain parameters that ensure that it's still going to look good and go well together. It's just going to, you know, that it can still be fun though. Okay. Finish this up. My town, it's small, but it actually has 2 farmers markets, one on Saturdays and one on Fridays. So I may end up making this to where it says farmers markets and then has the 2 different times. Oh man, I just hear that bathroom becoming the ocean. I kind of dread going in there sometimes, but I don't actually dread it. It just, you know, it's like walking in water when it's not by choice. It kind of is, it feels a little gross, you know? But anyway, I'm gonna finish this up, make it a different color than that. Probably maybe even just go. Okay, now I'm doing the outline on accident. Farmer's market. I'm gonna make it still somewhat orange. And I'm gonna pull these letters where they're kind of together, but you know, move it back a little bit, but I still want it to be cohesive, as in like everything looking like it goes together. So even if I change up the shape just a little bit, it still works. Okay. Now I'm going to bring these down just a size so that it fits with the size of the farmer's part. You know, there's, and this outline I don't really like. I would rather it have like a darker outline if it is going to have an outline. You know, but I don't like the outline. I think I would rather for the main title to not. But then again, maybe I want it to have an outline. I'm gonna go ahead and put an S because I'm just gonna copy it. Farmers markets. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there are more than one farmers markets in Border. Okay. And so maybe I kind of like looking at it from back here. All right, I just copied it and pulled it to the front. And now I'm gonna play around with it. All right, I don't want it to be the same color or even too similar to up here. So I'm gonna play with other colors. Definitely not too light. Farmers markets. I don't hate this color. I don't know if it's completely right for this one, but man, that is a nice purple. I like it coming up. Farmers markets. Which reminds me, I need to watch The New Girls soon. Hopefully it's coming on soon. Okay. And I'm just going to add some florals and it's going to be great. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you had just a great old time. And I wish you a great week with no fires and no chaos and craziness. And if there is, I wish you peace. And I hope you have a great spring. And I'll see you next week. All right. Have a good one. All right. I just signed off. I'm going to end the stream. And all right, let me make it to where you're looking at me again. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. And I hope you had fun chilling with me while I'm doing my design. All right, bye.